Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Ahsoka. So this is episode 5, and this episode was definitely, first off, it was a great episode. There are spoilers ahead-ish. It's kind of hard, kind of odd to say, mostly due to the fact where it's like, yes, I'll be talking about things that have happened. I don't necessarily know if they were a huge plot twist, in my personal opinion. But anyway, we find that Hera and her team get down to the planet's surface and start looking for Sabine and Ahsoka and are unable to find them. They find the droid who is holding Sabine's helmet and he basically explains to Hera that he told them to stay together and work together, but it seems like nobody ever listens to him. So that happens, and then we go into the world between worlds, and we see Anakin talking to Ahsoka, and basically, Anakin says to Ahsoka that obviously she has more to learn and that he's going to finish her training. And she's basically explaining that it's too late at this point. They're not going to, it's not going to help at this point. She's too old. And he explains to her that you're never too old to learn snipes, which is the nickname he gave her in Clone Wars. So it starts off with him pulling out his blue lightsaber and they start fighting. So they start fighting, and she's got the one up, and I put that as a question mark because I think for sure he is allowing her to have the one up. I don't think she actually has the one up, but visually it looks that way. So she gets on the other side of him. He slices through the World Between Worlds floor, and she goes straight down. So what happens is she then starts to review her past, and what we learn is so we see her as a child is a strong word. Um, how old she was in Clone Wars. So we see her very first one of her very first missions, seeing all the dead and carnage caused by the war, and then we see her on Mandalore with them fighting against what I'm assuming is Darth Maul's Mandalorians. So during that time, they start talking to each other, and it apparently shows that what Anakin is trying to teach Ahsoka is the fact that you're supposed to take everything that has been learned from and done by everyone before you and do it better. Because the whole time she's worried about becoming her master, doing what he did, right? Because unfortunately, he went to the dark side and turned into Vader. And the whole back and forth proves that that was her fear, that she is going to turn just like him. And they fight again. This time he goes Vader. And I'm putting that in quotes because we see like the flashes of him being Vader, but realistically it is a dark-sided Anakin. And they fight and it looks like he's about to win. He takes away her lightsabers and she actually disarms him and has him with the lightsaber right to his throat. And she explains to him that she is looking to live. Now, at first, we still see him angry with the dark side eyes and everything else, but he goes back to normal eyesight and everything else, and goes and says, "Well, it seems like um, you're going to be fine, and it seems like you're going to be doing just exactly what you should be doing." So she then leaves that plane of existence and goes back to the planet, apparently in the water. So before she gets back to reality, and I'm putting that as a question mark, Hera's son comes out and he hears the lightsaber battle between Ahsoka and Anakin, and he can hear it because of his Force abilities. So that's when Hera explains to her squadron that they need to start cycling through the water to see what's going on. So they waste a lot of time and a lot of fuel, and they don't find anything for a while. It wasn't until the very end of the fight, obviously, where they actually find her in the water and they pull her out. She's actually in the water. She gets pulled out, and she is unconscious for an entire rotation on that planet. While this is going on, Hera. is in a fight with the rebellion. I mean, I'm sorry, not the rebellion, the Republic, the New Republic, specifically for the fact that she's left with not only did she leave with a squadron without permission, she's wasting funds of the New Republic that was not authorized, and that if she doesn't leave now, she is going to lose her rank and potentially lose it permanently. While all of this is going on, um, Hera's basically trying to explain that they still have work that needs to be done and everything else, and they're not having it. And apparently, they're going to be bringing a flight command to them to deal with this situation. Hera is not thrilled with that whatsoever. Ahsoka wakes up and she is one happy that she's awake and everything else, but she's realizing when she goes out there, she uses the map, what's left of it, and finds out exactly what happens. And she knows Sabine went with them and that she was alive when she left the planet. But she has no way of figuring out where they are. While that is happening, she looks up and she happens to see Purgle. I'm hoping I say their name right. They're a apparently semi-sentient species of massive whales that live deep into space, and they travel from star system to star system. And so she orders them to go up into the space. Granted, they're in the atmosphere, so they're not actually in space, to actually talk to them. And yeah, I said exactly what I said. So Hera and Ahsoka, along with the droid, go up into the atmosphere. Ahsoka gets out of her ship to actually talk to the largest one of them all. Hera orders her squadron to stop the flight command from messing up her plan. Ahsoka talks to the to the Purgle, and what happens is, although we do not hear it, it opens its mouth and allows her and the whole ship to actually go in. So they go in, but not Hera, to be specific. They then take off into space and go into hyperspace. They have no idea where they're going, and they hope that they're going to where Sabine is, or where Thrawn slash Ezra are, but it is unknown. Um, Flight Command have this back and forth with the commander and everything else, but in the end, they realize that they are going to allow whatever's happening happen, mostly due to the fact they see all the Purgle coming out and is ready to go into hyperspace. And the episode ends with them disappearing into hyperspace. Yeah, so that's how the episode ends, and I'm very curious at where they're going to go. Obviously, we know that they're going to have, there's no way they're not going to go to the right location, or at least close to it. So I'm very curious to see what happens in the next couple episodes, and if we're going to see a more powerful Ahsoka, more for the fact that she has a new mindset. Now, she's changed her outfit, which is symbolic to the fact that she's changing her mindset of what needs to be done as a Jedi. So I'll be very curious to see what happens. I'm very curious to see what happens. I'm assuming you guys are as well. Very much looking forward to it. I am not 100% sure where it's going to go. I mean, there are only 3 episodes left. We know that Thrawn is supposed to be in it. We know Ezra's supposed to be in it. And we have not seen either of them. So I'm very curious that we're hopefully going to see them next episode. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? Personally, I did very much enjoy it. Um, it definitely was a emotional story arc more than um, it was more of a character development, I guess I should say, episode than it was to push the story along for that part. But in the end, it kind of does. So that being said, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.